Hi everyone, Alex here. Continuing with the Revit from 0 to 100 series. Today we're going to look at the resting planks on top of our foundation wall. So we're talking about these two guys right here. So the first thing we're going to do is modify our foundation wall width so we allow for these two resting planks. And it's going to end up looking something like this, but we're going to go in depth into the height of the whole assembly. Because in reality, what's happening is that these two members here, the lumber, the cross section of those is not really 2 by 6, but 1.5 by 5.5. And we have to take that into account so that we model it exactly how it's installed. See you in Revit. And remember, this video is part of our Revit Multi-trade from 0 to 100 course. So if you haven't seen the previous videos, go ahead and watch them now, because if not, you're going to be completely lost. Hi everyone, this is Alex with BIMitUp, where we help you with professional training and coaching in mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection systems, and Autodesk platforms like Revit and AutoCAD MEP. Let's get started. All right, so keeping this in mind, let's go back to our floor plan and let's go to this section. So I'm going to double click here and I'm going to take a look at this structural area here. Change my scale a little bit so I can read a little better. And remember, what we want is our horizontal planks sitting right here and our structure sitting on top of it. So let's go ahead and edit the width of this foundation wall from 18 inches to 22 inches. So I'm going to come here. First, I'm going to rename it because what we want is 22 inches. And then I'm going to modify the structure so that the thickness is 22 inches. I'm going to hit OK and OK. And now we have enough space to sit our 6-inch plank on top of it. Now let's go ahead and open our top of footing floor plan. We have one here, which was already created by default. And notice that the top of footing level is in blue, which means that I do have a view associated to it. But like the top of foundation level is in black, which means that I don't have a view associated to it. And I think it would be useful to have a plan at the top of foundation. And that's easy enough to create. Just go here to Plan View, Floor Plan. You select top of foundation. Then you click OK. Now let's adjust our view range a little bit, because right now we're seeing only the block walls. But if I go here to View Range and I change the top, let's say, to 1 foot. And let's set our cut plane to say 6 inches, and then the bottom, let's say -2 feet, and then the view depth also -2 feet. And this is great, so I can see my exterior wall right here, I can see my foundation wall right here, and I can see my continuous footing right here. Now let's try to have a similar setup for a 3D view. So I'm going to create a duplicate of my 3D view. And I'm going to rename as 3D floor framing. And now I'm going to adjust. Let me go to the left orientation, looking at it from the west. And then what I want to do is I want to go a little bit lower than my structural wood. So let me change scale just so that I can read. Anyway, what I want is I want to be lower than my wood floor. So let's just do a little bit of trial and error here. Maybe a little bit higher so I can see my block wall. There you go. So that's exactly what I want, so that I can see where I'm going to rest those horizontal planks here and here. I'm going to go to top of foundation. So there's another block wall running along this center line. So I'm going to just do create similar from this one. I'm going to have the base constraint top of foundation. Base offset is going to be 0. Then I'm going to have an unconnected height of, let's say, 1 foot for now. Then we'll adjust it. And then I'm going to pick here wall center line. I'm going to go like this, like that, and like that. I'm just going to join to this one. And then I'm going to join it here. Now let's go to our section view. Actually, I need a section through here. Oh, I do have one. It's this one. And then let's just bring it up to the bottom of the structural floor. In addition to that, there's also this wall here. As you can see in this image, there's wall here, then it jogs a little bit, and then it keeps going north. So that would be this here. right? So this corner here is this corner here. So what we want to do, if we go to our foundation plan, we want to trim this foundation wall with this foundation wall. So let's see if we can do that. From here to here. Very good. We can verify in 3D view. There you go. Perfect. Just a reminder of what I want to end up with. We want to have our 10-inch footing, 12-inch foundation wall, our 2x6s, our 2x10s, and then our structural wood floor. And in section view, our footing, foundation wall with our block wall on top, our 2x6s, 2x10s, our structural floor, and our finished floor. So keeping this in mind, let's go to our section. Alright, so let's zoom into this area and let's think about this. So what we're gonna have is our structural floor right here with a finished floor, and then right underneath our structural floor you have your joists, right? Your floor joists, which are 2x10s, and then right under the 2x10s you're gonna have two 2x6s in a horizontal orientation. Now if you go to any hardware store, you will notice that nominal 2x10s are actually in width 9.25 inches and in thickness 1.5 inches. So what you're going to have is these 2x10s are 9.25 in height, right? And then your 2x6s have a nominal thickness of 1.5, so you have 3 inches here. So you'll be ½ inch plus 1 is 1.5. Then you have 3 inches here at the bottom, so that's 4.5 inches. And then 4.5 inches plus 9.25 is a total of 13.75 under our main wood floor, which if we measure here is exactly the distance that we have from the main wood floor to the top of foundation. So our horizontal planks will be resting right here. In other words, in our 3D view, our wood planks are going to be sitting right here at the top of this surface. Now let's remember that our nominal 2x6s sitting at the bottom are actually 5.5 inches in width and 1.5 inches in thickness. So knowing that, let's go to our top of foundation plan, and I'm going to change this to shaded so that I can see different colors here. And now let's see under structure if we find any beams that resemble what we're looking for. We can see that we have a 2x10, so we can use this 2x10 and edit type, and let's duplicate it. Let's create a 2x6, and we know that that is 5.5 by 1.5. And I think this is gonna be easier if I have my 3 views tiled. So I'm gonna do WT to tile my views. So I have my plan view here, I have my 3D view here, and I have my section here. So let's try this. I'll go here to beam, I'll select my 2x6, I'm going to attach it to the top of foundation, and I'm just going to place it here in the air just to test something out. As you can see, it's coming in the vertical orientation. That's not what I want. So one option could be you edit this type, and instead of having a 2x6, you have a 6x2. That's an option. And another option would be to click on it and then have the cross section rotated 90 degrees. And instead of having it justified to the top, you have it justified to the bottom. And then you could align like that. Right, so that's one option. But really what I'm after is 2 of those, one on top of the other. So I think we're going to be better off just duplicating that one. So I'm going to delete this one. And I'm going to go beam. I'm going to edit type. Let's duplicate it. And instead of being a 2x6, it's a 6x2. But since it's going to be 2 of them, one on top of the other, it's 6x4. And then this is going to be 5.5. And then this is going to be 3. Let's try this out. I'm going to try to start here. I'm going to come this way, and attach to here. But now this is going into my concrete. So I'm going to do tab select to select the whole run. And instead of having it justified to the top, I want to justify it to the bottom. There you go. That's exactly what I'm after, right? So let me adjust this a little bit. There we go. Now let's finish going around the perimeter because that's what we want. I think at this point I can do TW and on tile, and then I can do create similar. And let's go to our 3D view, and that's exactly what we're looking for, right? Just a note to say that if you're watching this, you're not currently on our BIMitUp platform, so you may be getting only partial content. For exclusive BIMitUp training material, you want to visit BIMitUp.com. Subscription to the website is free, with some paid and some free content. We're trying not to run ads here, so the creation of the content is made possible, mostly by the contribution and support of our subscribers. So if you enjoy what we do here, please consider becoming one. You can do so by joining our Patreon community at patreon.com/BIMitUp, or by simply scanning the QR code that you see on screen right now. And if you're really serious about your professional training, you can book some live training at BIMitUp.com, or by simply scanning the QR code that you see on screen right now. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Now make sure you visit BIMitUp.com. Over there you'll be able to log in if you already have login information, or if you want to become a member, you can sign up with Google, Facebook, or with your email address. And once you're a member and you're logged in, you have access to a lot of good features. You can access your bookings from here, you can go to my programs, and even some free ones that I offer there. I'm running a little bit of a scholarship program here because I don't want money to be the reason why you cannot develop professionally. So these are all the programs that I'm a participant on, and these are the ones that I have completed. So go ahead and visit BIMitUp.com. Becoming a member is free, but I do not run ads in any of my stuff. So the creation of the content is made possible entirely from patrons and other contributions. So if you can, consider subscribing. I'll leave a link in the description of the video, and I'll see you soon.